Hello and welcome to the channel, Rexsource Rex, where we review and discuss all things dinosaur and other prehistoric animals. What we have today is number 3 in my first 3 of the even later to the party series, aka the Deluxe Raptor series by Beasts of the Mesozoic. And today we have the Zhenyuanlong suni. So what you see right there is another beautiful raptor. Definitely very colorful, and we'll get more into that in a hot minute. You see I already have him out of the packaging and on his display base, so we will take a look at all that entails. But for right now, we'll look at that packaging because, as always, there's a nice backdrop. You can see that through there, through the plastic. Comes with all of the Raptors in this series. Backdrops, in fact, with all of the action figures in BOTM. You've got beautiful artwork of the Zhenyuanlong right there. Very, very nice. Of course, we've got the logo and the Raptor avatar there. Turn it to the back. You have more that artwork, and you have what you have here is the write-up, which is the length, which is 5.4 feet long, and it's 6.6 feet with the tail feathers. So this particular dinosaur was big time feathered. I guess they were able to tell from impressions from the fossils. Zhenyuanlong stands for Zhenyuan's dragon, and the location was in China. Lived about 125 million years ago. The woodlands of Asia was its habitat. The distinguishing characteristics, noteworthy for its long arm and tail feathers. Yeah, they must have gotten impressions. Like I said, Zhenyuanlong was a dinosaur that closely resembled a bird. Despite this, its short arms would not have allowed it to fly, and it remains a mystery as to what it used its large feathers for. So yeah, they basically determined that the arms were also too weak to fly. But probably, I don't know if it was you would think that with the feathers, and this could be apropos for any/all dromaeosaurs. It probably, they were already fast in their own right. If they while running extended their arms, they were practically gliding, and I'm sure that helped with their speed, especially in Zhenyuanlong's case because of how long its feathers were. So yeah, so that's that's the great thing about being into dinosaurs. You get to speculate because since we don't have any to actually study, we have to logically conclude things. Anyway, now that we've gotten that done, we'll check out the stand and the accessories. And speaking of that base, as with all of the deluxe Raptors, they all come with the same style base. They just colored differently. This, as you can see, is nice green and gray rocks right there. And this rock in particular, we'll keep an eye out on for a certain reason, which you guys probably already know if you've seen my last 2 videos. And of course, we get the stand, which is you insert in the hole there. It's on a ball peg, so you can actually move it around to try to assist with different poses. And you get this clip right here, which is this clip is meant for placing your dinosaur, its upper torso, its chest, within there. You see it's got a wide one, and then there's a smaller clip. This one actually clips onto the pelvic area. Can actually tightly grasp that, so you can get some other types of poses that you'd be unable to get with the wide clip. And then bringing the base back into view, you see I already have it down there. The Raptor series, all of the dromaeosaurs come with an additional pair of toes, and they come in packaging with their toes already splayed open, and then you have these where they are closed. You may be wondering why give two sets of toes and some closed and some open, other than the obvious reason of just kind of sort of changing the appearance. It's probably safe to say that, like, say if the dromaeosaur in question were running, or was it had a foot, or the feet were off the ground, the toes were probably together. When they were on the ground, they were probably splayed apart. So that makes for more realistic posing scenes. So that is the base. Now getting a measurement of our Zhenyuanlong. All of the raptors in this series are they're listed as approximately 12 inches if you were to read the descriptions, but they all come in at different lengths. Our Zen here, I'm going to call him Zen for short, from snout to the end of the tail, we're going to take two measurements here. If you go to where the tail actually ends, it's about 10.5 inches long, and then when you get to the end of the furthest protruding quill of the feathers, it will be 11.5 inches long. So you saw from the description in the bio that it was less than 6 feet long to the tip of its tail, and a bit longer when you include the feathers, and they're keeping true to scale, and we'll see that when we do some comparisons later on in the review. Getting a nice close-up of our dromaeosaur here, we can see a nice black skull with a kind of like a fiery orange beak there, or a snout. It shouldn't be considered a beak, but a snout there. You see the eyes are painted yellow. They're rimmed in red, and of course the pupils are black. And you see that feathered crest that it possesses is like a gray with a black dry brushing over it. Looks pretty nice. And then of course our Zhenyuanlong has a tuft of feathers here at the base of the neck, and it is I think one of only two of the raptors that actually have that, this being one of them. So that makes it kind of unique right there. And moving it on down, you can see that the base color here is the base color is like a silvery whitish color, and then there's a blue dry brushing over it. And then when you look at the wings, which are exceptionally long, as was stated in the little information that we read on the back, you see that these are pretty long right there. They start off with that blue, and then they work their way down to like a very light purple with a dark dry brushing over it. And then you see the quills, the outer quills of all sets of the feathers are like a silvery white. Pretty nice there. And then on the back, let me move the arm slash wing out the way. You can see how that hind limb is that same purplish blue, and it just melts into that silvery like white, and as it goes down, and then you look at the feet, it's got that fiery red or orange there. You can see the scalation there pretty good. And then you've got, of course, the toes painted black. Looks pretty nice there. And then looking at the tail, you can see, if you recall my other two reviews, this tail is a lot fuller in terms of the feathering is concerned than the previous two, which is what the information was alluding to right there. It had a lot of feathers. So like I said, I really think that especially with this species, when it ran, it probably ran with its arms open and its tail straight back, and it probably semi-glided. You know, it probably looked like it was very, very light on its feet, but yeah, this is looking cool. And you see once again the outer edges of the feathers. This is almost like I don't know if it's translating well on camera, but it almost has a yellow kind of tone to it on top of a very, very light pale kind of yellow. You know, not a bright yellow. And you see you've got that the silvery outlines on all the layers of feathering right there. And then on the inside of the tail, turn that around so you can see you got some striping there, and they, meaning Beast of the Mesozoic, Creative Beast Studios, they took the time out to make sure that the underside of the tail feathering is different than on the outside there. So cool. And then of course, you know, everything is repeated on the other side there. So pretty cool. As far as the articulation goes, 26 points of articulation. So you start as we always do with the mouth. So you got that. The tongue is articulated, so you know that's always cool. You've got the head, can go left, right, up and down, independent of the neck. The neck has some, it might be, yeah, so you see, if you can hear that, it can go up and down slightly. So that's pretty cool. So in conjunction with that, you can get some very nice head turn action going on. The torso, up, down, left and right, and you can twist it a little bit. The arms, you can rotate practically 360, but in this case, that tuft of feathering that I mentioned at the base of the neck, that impedes going 360. So you will get stopped at some point. You've got articulation at the elbow, and then at the, we'll call it the wrist, as you can see there. And you've got, as far as the hind limbs, rotation. You've got articulation at that knee, and it swivels there too. So you can go up, down, and it swivels. And then at that secondary joint, you have articulation. You've got articulation at where the toes are, and then the actual toes, we'll call this the actual ankle, and then you've got articulation at the toes. You can spin them, and then the sickle claw has its own individual articulation. You've got that, and then the tail, you've got the 2 points of articulation there. So right there at the base, it will go left and right, and then the actual where you connect the tail up. See, as I take that apart there, you can get that back in. I've got it so that it's in the top joint. I'll show that in a hot second, but you can actually move this left and right, and it can go up and down, and the tail itself has got bendy wire in it, as all the dromaeosaur tails do have. And let's see if this will work while it's on camera. Yep, there we go. You see the two holes. So those two ports, the lower one is so that way if you put the tail in that one, see if that'll work for me while I'm on camera. So very quickly, you see that I've got the tail is kind of pointing up, trying to poke up a little bit. That's because I've got the tail in that lower port, which drives that tail to point up. And you can, to finish off what you can do with the articulation, you can spin the tail to the left and right if you so chose. So that's what we got going on for the articulation there. Here's our Zhenyuanlong in a pose, having him like raised up, standing up straight, or as straight as a dinosaur could stand up, a bipedal dinosaur can stand up, and utilizing that pelvic clip. That way you get it further down on the body, which enables you to keep the figure upright. So that's just you know, a taste of you know, what you can do with either of those clips. in order to pose your figure. It's very difficult for these figures to stand on their own simply because of all of the articulation down in the lower extremities. So it makes it difficult. The wild thing is you could actually pose it without the stand if you want to do a 4-point stance utilizing the arms and the feathers, especially with Zhenyuanlong because of how large the feathering is on this particular beast. And now, linking our Zhenyuanlong with the previous two raptors that I've reviewed, we have on our right Raptor, the fan's choice version, and we have in the back there on our left, we have the Sagan-Mangus, and they all look very, very nice together. So to wrap up with a little more housekeeping, I failed to mention what species of living bird that this action figure was patterned after. As you all know by now, Beasts of Mesozoic bases all of their figures on living animals. In the case with the Raptor series, living existing birds. Our Zhenyuanlong is based on, the color scheme is based on the red-billed blue magpie, and those colors definitely do it does this species much justice. Very nice. Of course, you know, the articulation is there as with all of them so far, so I don't really need to comment on how well that goes. You see how I've got the figure displayed. We talked about the long feathering that Zhenyuanlong has, and it was my belief that it used its feathers to help it glide, you know, so actually it moved faster. So it probably was hell on wheels for prey to get away from. This critter must have been mad quick, but I'm sure all of the dromaeosaurs were crazy quick too and fast. But you know, some like in this case, this was a smaller species, so that alone made it faster. But then you add all of these the extra plumage. I'm sure this thing was just lightning quick. Anyway, this is the third of the Raptor series that I've acquired. You guys have already seen the reviews for the Raptor and the Sagan-Mangus. If you haven't, you need to go ahead and check those out. I also need you guys to like this video, and please share it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And while you're down there, if you want to be notified for the next time I upload another video, click that bell and you shall be notified. Also comment, you know, leave your questions, your concerns, anything you want to add or change up, you know, whatever, leave them in the comments below, and I will see what's the what when it comes to that. So yeah, that'll do it for this review, guys. I have acquired, and it's on the way, a Dromaeosaurus, which I think, just from looking at them all on paper, it looked like that was going to be my favorite raptor in this series. We'll see when I have it in hand. But that's definitely all coming along the way, and I have a couple other raptors from the series coming too. And that'll probably be it. I think I'm just going to, you know, end it with about 6 and just keep it there of the ones that I, you know, that just impressed me the most. 6 right there that I can think of. There are 3 that I also want to get, but it's going to be very difficult to get those because they've been discontinued. That being the Adasaurus, the Atrociraptor, and I think the Articulation too. So it's going to be real hard for me to get those because, once again, they've been discontinued. But we'll see what I can do, and hopefully one day I will have those to present to you. So basically, until my next review, you guys, thanks for rocking with me and sticking with me and supporting the channel, those of you that have done so. And if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe and yeah, help us grow. So until my next review, guys, thanks for watching, and take care.